Howard, and I'm actually joined with Aries Gaming Productions. What's going on, Aries?
Yo yo.
Yeah, so a long time ago, galaxy far, far away, we actually did a video about 14. I can't remember if it was on mine though. I think it was on your channel, I think.
It might have been on my channel.
Yeah, so I think we just both kind of wanted to talk about our thoughts about Endwalker. From two perspectives. One, from a guy who's been playing this game for quite a while. Not like, well, actually, you played like 14 when it first came out, did you not?
Yeah, I played 1.0 when it came out.
Wow,
Back way back in the day. I had just actually started college when it first came out. And
that's crazy. Wow.
it was at that time where like I was like, you know what? It's Final Fantasy. I love it. Let me check it out. I played 1.0. I hated it.
Mm.
I just hated everything about it. Systems didn't make sense. Nothing was cool. No cool armor set, anything like that on my character. And I basically stopped playing it. Funny enough, I actually have the save data for that character still in another world from when I started. It's like level like a 16 gladiator or something like that. It's nothing like
Very
too
early,
spectacular.
very
Yeah.
early in the game.
Yep.
That's how early you stopped. Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't play it again until COVID kind of had us all kind of in lockdown,
Hmm.
and we decided to give the game a try. I did it a little bit before. I
Yep.
think you and PT did, but I played it for a little bit, and I was like, hey, you know what? This is really good.
Yeah.
Everything I like about this is actually very good. You should try it. So that's
Yeah,
why we
no, for
got
sure. And
President
that's kind of what
Howard
we
in it.
wanted to do is kind of like take two perspectives. One from someone who did not play that early on to see the change, and someone that did. And I gotta say, so we finished. I finished Endwalker probably about a few days ago, probably 4 days ago. And you finished it like what in January?
Uh, yeah, I finished it in. Let's see. Well, I would have finished it actually in came out in November, I think. So yeah, it would have been like the very beginning of the of January when I would have finished in Walker. The main
Got you.
story at least.
Yeah, got you. That's crazy. Because I am coming in like 6 months later. Which is better than not coming in at all.
True.
But I have to say that if you've always been on the fence about MMORPGs, if you've been like me that has always thought that MMORPGs have shitty stories, and just like it's not very fun to play. I mean, the combat may be fun, but everything else is boring. You need to put all those, all that hesitancy to the side, and I really recommend picking up 14. I don't know if they still do the free trial or not
It
for the.
has a
Free trial that's still active.
Yeah,
and
so it's
it
still
gets you
active. I
up.
didn't know that. Yeah.
And yeah, but they closed it for a while because the game was so successful. Funny enough, that they literally couldn't keep the servers up, so they had to stop it for a while, and they only let people who had a subscription play. And then once everybody kind of got the craze out of the way, then they let the people with the free trial come back in, just because they didn't have the server capacity. The servers like failed.
Yeah.
Like there were so many people that wanted to play it that like the servers just weren't there. But now that's not the case. Anybody pretty much can jump on it anytime, get the free trial, play through Realm Reborn, the first big expansion, the free one. The other free one is Heaven's Word. It's a free expansion that they added previously, and a lot of people think that Heaven's Word is one of the best stories in an MMO
Hmm.
ever. So if you haven't given it a try, like Diar was saying, go ahead, give the free trial a go. You don't even have to stick to your same class. The class system is cool. I'm sure we'll kind of just based on our classes stuff what
Sure.
we liked
Yeah.
about Endwalker, um, but yeah, go ahead and give it a try. That's really all I've got to say. I'm not gonna preach all day and try to convince you. Even though I love the game,
Hmm.
try it, play it, see how you like it. If you do, stick with it because it pays off to stick with this game.
Yeah, it really does. And I think I think I've shared similar, opinions in the last video. I think that we did, but that was a while ago, so I'll refresh it, I guess, as one would say.
Hmm.
I think the biggest price you have to pay is doing that very first story bit.
Yes.
However, I think Realm Reborn has more meaning and significance after you play the rest of the game, because you actually appreciate more of the characters in Realm Reborn when you're not in Realm Reborn after you've experienced it, which was incredible. I will be very honest. When it comes to me in gaming, like I have different phases of being interested and then not being interested, and I'll be off and on. And like 14 is one of those games where I was consistently like on and off of it, because I knew that if I kept playing it while I hated it, or like not really I hated it, when I was just like kind of losing interest, it's better to kind of switch it up and play something else than keep pushing, because I think there's a big worry that you could actually just completely lose sight of the game and not want to play it anymore completely. So that's what I would do. I would just constantly, as soon as I would kind of get turned off, I would just kind of I would get turned off. I would go to something else, play something else. And then, but for some reason, I always came back to this game. Like, I always did. And I remember playing through all of Realm Reborn, just kind of like, oh, when is this over? When is this over? Like, paying attention as much as I could to the cutscenes and what was happening. But as soon as the end of Realm Reborn hit, no spoilers here, by the way. I'm not going to be worrying about that. If there's a spoiler section, we'll call it out, but not right now. When I got to that point where there's a big moment that happens in Realm Reborn, I was like, holy crap! And then Ares was there for it. He was just, there it is. Yep. Yep. And that's where I fell in love with the game completely. Like, just head over heels. And that's around the same time Heaven's Ward starts. So, like, not only is the combat fantastic, the class system is very diverse and very rich. With the whole, you have DPS, tank, healer. There's a multitude of classes, or job roles within those 3 classes, which gives you a huge variety in what you do and how you play. Some of my favorite characters, I'm going to be very honest. My very first class that I think I maxed out all the way, not to 90. Well, actually, we'll do 90. It was actually Samurai, actually. It was Samurai. Because I technically started off with Rogue, went Ninja, and fell in love with that. That's when Big kind of showed me, the dojo, and he was just, hello, my student. And I was like, oh, Big, yes. But then, I picked up Samurai because I thought that was really neat, and I fell in love with Samurai because it's just so cool. Having, the katana on your hip is just, super cool. I love having the scabbard there.
And the only class that can do that, by the way.
It's
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Every other class does not have something they sheath the weapon into. Samurai is the only one that does it.
Which is really stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get why they do that, but it's whatever. But yeah, Samurai's the only class that does that. And then I have Machinist, which I did not think I would actually go with Machinist. I'll be very honest. I was I don't know. I just didn't really care much about it at the very beginning, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, we'll try out Machinist. And I loved it. It was so much fun. Machinist is so much fun. It's not busy at all. There's a couple of things you have to do, but a really good Machinist, your AoEs, you're going to be wiping people out, very fast. It's Samurai and Samurai, Ninja, Machinist, Reaper, those classes are some of the best DPSs in the game. And they're more for doing the damage rather than party utility, which is totally fine. But yeah, those are the classes that I rock. And the last class I've been rocking is Gunbreaker, and I'm still working on Red Mage. I'm about to pick that one back up as well. But yeah, so Gunbreaker, incredibly fun. I was not sold on it at the very beginning. I actually did not like it when I started off as a tank. I was nervous about it. I always felt like I was going to do really bad if I kept playing tank. So I just kind of stopped playing it for a bit, but then I got back into it again, and I love tanking now. It's really fun. You find the occasional person that thinks that you're a troll when you don't understand the game mechanics or you forget a game mechanic. They're like,
yeah.
Yesterday, I still can't believe that happened. We had this guy rage because I was tanking the way I was supposed to, but there was someone else that wasn't. I don't know what happened, but he kept blaming the tanks for everything. It said that we were trolling. I'm like, dude, life goes on, man. It was an accident. It's all good. Keep going. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But back to Endwalker. Let me just say this: Endwalker was incredible. It was, in my opinion, it was better than Shadowbringers. I think Endwalker had some massive, significant moments that I cried. Like I literally teared up. That's how like powerful the story was. There were so many moments in Endwalker where you're like, oh fuck, come on, like like moments you think like you're about to lose, moments that like they really flipped the script, and some things that happen. Um, yeah, I mean, here's the thing: the biggest thing you have to pay when you want to play 14 is your time, right? Because it's an MMO. Get through Realm Reborn, and I'm telling you, get through each of those expansions. And then when you get to Endwalker, and you've actually been paying attention a little bit, see, I'm not as familiar or as gracious with the lore as Mr. Aries Game Productions over here. But for me, just because like I did pay attention to what I could, and like would watch some videos and whatnot, this story had so much significance. And more like the sum of the parts, you right? Like they all ended up, adding together to the end was incredible. And that's where I'm going to leave it for that. Aries, tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, so like we were talking about this yesterday too. I think when we were doing our dailies, and we actually just got through the Nier raid, the Nier Automata raid. Really good,
incredible.
Fantastic. One of the best things I've done in the game so far. But if I was to give you guys like my list of people, the expansions that I enjoyed the most is definitely Endwalker, Shadowbringers, in this order probably. Endwalker, Shadowbringers, Heavensward, Stormblood, Realm Reborn. And like, I don't think any of those expansions are bad. I just think Endwalker does so much stuff to kind of tie it all back together. In such a good way. And fun fact, the same person that's writing the Endwalker story also wrote the Shadowbringer story, which is why it's so good. She's amazing, great writer, and she deserves like every single like accolade Square Enix can possibly give her. Because that woman is amazing. So, the music in Endwalker is top notch too. I think a lot of people kind of got nervous because Shadowbringer's music is so good that people were kind of worried about Endwalker music not being as good. But dude,
like where can you go? Like where can you go after Shadowbringers? And they went.
That's what I was worried about too. But as soon as I heard the theme, as soon as I heard the different themes for Endwalker being like mixed together with like the Stormblood, Shadowbringers, Heavensward, Realm Reborn stuff being thrown in there, all that sort of stuff, it just gets amplified even more because Soken's such a genius. And he brings his A game here too. Like there's not one song in here that's in the expansion and I was like, man, this song sucks. No. Even
there's actually a place that you can go, and I actually hated this song at the very beginning. Let me find out where it was again. I'm looking at traveling teleport. Oh, I can't tell where I'm sitting now. It's where all the elephants are, Aries. I can't remember the name of that place.
Oh, it's Radzat Han, yeah.
Yeah, Radzat Han. I hated that song at the very beginning when I first heard it, and now I'm like dancing, like shaking my hands every time I walk through there.
The people who played Shadowbringers and done the Titania fight, y'all know what I'm talking about too with even that song. But after you do that trial enough, you start kind of bopping to that song too, even though you think it's fucking annoying the first time that you play it. Yeah. It really is. Now, given like the thing about the and just the direction in the game total. I mean, Yoshi P is he's the chief right now. That's why he got promoted to do Final Fantasy 16. That's why he's producing it. He's not directing it, but he's still producing it.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And that's why like the guy's just worked his ass off. He's gotten just accolades upon accolades from the community. So props to Square for actually trusting him with another mainline Final Fantasy game, because I think people forget that 14 was originally put forth as a mainline Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
And not a MMO. Yoshi P himself kind of said they look at it as a RPG MMO. They want it to be an RPG first before it's an MMO. and that's why I
Really?
think
He
the
said that?
direction. Yeah, he said
That's
that.
incredible.
So that's
Yeah.
why I think his direction is so much more viable for an MMO space. Is because he looks at it as a story element before he looks at it as a player across the world element. He wants everything to be good on the RPG perspective before he turns his head towards the MMO side, and I think that's what's partially led to his success.
No, I completely agree with you. Because if I remember back in the day, there were so many MMORPGs I played. Right, the only one that comes anywhere close to the story bit in an MMORPG, but this one's more MMO than it is RPG. It's probably Star Wars: Old Republic. And I would say that like
BioWare.
I would definitely say that your story has more branching paths and stuff like that in Old Republic, but whereas in here the story is way more prolific, like it's way more important, I would say, and meaningful. Because like a lot of people, I feel like will get lost in translation with the whole "hey, power of friendship wins all." It's not usually what happens through everything, but that's quite a motif in this game. But there's also quite a huge amount of other moments that happen that just it blows you away.
There's moments in this story where like the power of friendship gets shat on.
It
like
does.
they're like
Yeah.
I'm thinking particularly in the beginning of Stormblood with Xenos and like yeah, I mean like it just doesn't work. like
Yeah.
like you get your ass clapped a good bit, and like
So actually,
there's just
before we
no
go
other way
forward,
around
let's go on and say spoilers territory now
Yeah.
for now on, just to
Yeah.
be safe. Like if you've never played Endwalker or any of the expansions, from here on out, we're gonna be talking a little bit. We're gonna be talking a huge amount of detail about what we love about 14 in more spoiler territory. So if you're worried about hearing anything else, just go on and tune off the video because we don't want to spoil anything. Because I think the story is very good. I think the story is meh in Realm Reborn, but at the end of Realm Reborn to Heavensward, the story skyrockets and it's super fun. And it's not only fun; it's like that's where bad things actually start happening. There's a big seriousness to the story, and just like everything gets better. So I just think that if you are thinking about playing the game, save yourself the spoilers, because if I would have gotten spoiled on anything with the story, I would have been angry with anybody with 14, because the story is actually, in my opinion, fantastic.
So again, we're doing spoilers for Endwalker now, so we're gonna do a big countdown. 5,
There's no
4,
no excuses.
3,
Don't do it.
2, 1. Everyone died. No.
Yeah, there we
go. But for real spoilers, so what was your thoughts on how kind of Endwalker begins from where I guess it was really like it was at the end of like all the 5 point, whatever they were, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all that sort of stuff for Shadowbringers, where you do this big fight, at the very end of Shadowbringers, and then it kind of starts off into Endwalker with you having done that. You're still looking for ways to stop these icons that are being resurrected from the towers come about. And so, how do you feel like the very beginning of it? When this is like Tower of Zot, Tower of Babel type.
Yeah, Tower of Zot, Tower of
it.
Babel. I gotta say, the difficulty spike was massive.
Yes.
Like I thought that was very prolific. I know I'm using that word a lot right now, but it's very true. Like it feels like. And here's the thing too. We just got done doing the Nier dungeons, like the Alliance raids. Those were incredibly difficult. That is not easy. But like I died so many times because I was it was my first time running all of them. But then you go back to main scenario. The main scenario, starting with Endwalker, was actually difficult, and you had to be careful. The mechanics were deep; they were very luscious. I enjoyed them all. I felt just like the story. I felt like the story in Endwalker, as well as Shadowbringers, but in terms of ranking, Shadowbringers is definitely below Endwalker in my opinion. There were just so many moments of oh fuck. And not only that, there were moments of just pure bliss when you are really rewarded by having a character that has a crap ton amount of characters, like in terms of classes, like having them maxed out. Um, like there again, you were telling me about that. There's one cutscene. I noticed it a little bit, not a lot of it, but a little one. There's a cutscene before you go into Garlemald. Is it Garlemade?
Yeah,
Garlemald?
Garlemald. Mm-hmm.
Garlemald, yeah. Before you go in there, you kind of like get up your whole posse before you roll out there, and depending on how many job classes you've completed, that room can be very small or very huge. And I thought that was such a cool way of paying homage to players who, not only have been playing longer, but players who have taken that time to play multiple classes. You got to see the fruits of your labor kind of just be manifested before you. And that's the thing that a lot of MMORPGs and a lot of games, especially developers, don't understand. That Final Fantasy XIV Square Enix does understand at times the players. And I've never felt like I can play a game that's completely understood what I want to look like, how I want to play, what's cool to me, more so than 14 has done for me. Which I think should be very much commended. And not only that, we live in a world where, this is going to sound very weird, but if I cry during a cutscene or a video game, that's because it really got me.
Yeah.
I've played so many video games and so many, stories. I've seen it happen where you would think it would make you cry. You would think, but even though they fire everything, it doesn't make me tear up. It doesn't get me emotional. 14 Endwalker got me incredibly emotional. And by the way, sorry, I'm recovering from COVID, so that's why I'm kind of coughing a lot right now. I have this I have this dry cough. Sorry about that. Nothing else has done what 14 has done. Especially what Endwalker has done. And I was so mad the entire way. Not the entire way, but I was just upset that I had to play through all the early stuff, and I was just constantly wondering when the next thing's going to be over with, until I got to the point where I was like, oh my god, it's almost over. And then not only that, because I was paying attention, you got to see everything kind of get tied in a nice bow at the end. And seeing all of that come together, I teared up. I cried. Just that last walk, the walk, is incredible.
Yeah. So and the things for me too, just from, and basically what we're talking about for those that have already played, we're talking this 81 to 83 level type of time period, right before the final days kind of hit. So we're talking about all that, and funny things for me as far as what they were doing, especially with the storytelling, was how the towers were basically they're these machines that pop out of nowhere pretty much, but they absorb all the people that are in there, all the beast tribes, and they're summoning all their icons and the different things, they're getting Ifrit, Rama, Bahamut, or things like that. It's Shadow Spectre version of them, but you fight them in Shadowbringers. So this it's not fairly anything new, but I thought what was really cool about the Tower of Zot was that the final boss is actually another callback to Final Fantasy IV, because you fight those guys in Final Fantasy IV.
That's right. Yep, that's right.
And you basically, one of them, if you don't take out one of them, they heal the other ones, they revive them, so you have to actually, if you have played Final Fantasy IV, you'll actually know which one to take out, but if you don't, you have to just learn the mechanics in general, which is a really nice little touch. Tower of Babel, super good music, probably one of the best music, probably the best music out of all the dungeons they did. It's got a very good synth wave, very upbeat vibe to it, really cool. But the fact that Anima 2 was made out of the corpse of the king or the emperor that they killed, that Xenos killed, is a really nice little touch too. One of the best moments from that level 83 quest, after I think it's 82 or 83, is when they took you out of your body and made you play as a regular old dude
Yeah,
and had to survive. That was amazing.
that
And a
yeah,
good placement.
that is actually one. That's like my second, like my number two favorite moment. My number two, number three favorite moment of Endwalker. I thought that was so much fun. It was ballsy to do something like that. But then again, like you basically are playing a survival game at that point. You are
Yeah.
basically outnumbered, outgunned, outmatched, and I'm surprised I got through like with it the first time. I should have died. Like it was so intense of a moment because like you're the warrior of light, and they said straight up, "Hey, you're not the warrior of light anymore. You're just a low-ranking Imperial soldier. Go have fun." And you're like,
Yeah.
ah. And so you had to get back to your friends for Xenos literally kills them in your own body. And it's just like it's just insane. It was so intense. Like I was talking to Aries about it as soon as I got done with it. I was like, dude, that was amazing.
Yeah.
And you get there just in the nick of time. That is I love like the kind of like the invasion that we do into Garlemald. It's not even an invasion. Like we're there to help them. Like and
Yeah.
like and we're still being under attack by the Imperials. Like there's a massive battle that happens. It's super badass where we get ambushed and we're having to go through the entire convoy to kind of like keep them all safe and together, which is also really cool. You kind of like learn just how deep the Empire's pride is too. Just how deep, like they literally were trying to unite everybody under one banner, and then we find out we're trying to do the same thing. I'm like, okay, so why is it okay that you do it, but we can't do it? It's like, damn, this man has a
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, it really hits hard, especially the commander right when you get to Garlemald, the
Yep.
one that we're still in the spoiler stuff too. I don't know if anybody's tuned in or not, but we're still in the spoiler
Definitely
stuff.
spoilers, guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
When that commander like basically just killed himself right there too. He's like, wow, there's nothing left. Like the Empire's in shambles, it's over, and he just kills himself. And like, because I think he realizes that the more that the Eorzean people are there to help, the more that the Garlean culture just, what
Fades
it was
away.
when you find them in Realm Reborn, it's just not the same. Like these guys, basically the young guy, I forgot his name. He's like the captain dude that you kind of befriend
Yeah,
in
the
the
captain,
Empire.
yeah.
But like he literally just tells Xenos, he's like, "What good's the Empire if like we're all dead?" And he's like, Xenos just kind of looks at him. He's like, "Yeah, you're right." So
Yeah.
it's just like one of those ones you're like, "Damn, he really doesn't even care." Like he literally just wants to fight you. Xenos, but his whole man crush on you has gone to exponential levels in this part of the story where he's just mad, crazy in love with you and just wants to basically get you to kill him. But like that part of it is just amazing. The long part that I kind of share with you that was the story really takes a slowdown is in Elpis.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that
Let's
was
talk about that. Yeah.
yeah. So that's basically where the story really just halts to a stop. And I know why they did it. It's basically to show you what things are like before the final days and why the final days happen in general. Probably could have been shortened, definitely.
Yeah. I think so.
It
too.
was basically just made to give people fan service for Emmett and Hythlodaeus and
Hythlodaeus,
and Venat, who later on becomes Hydaelyn.
Yep.
But that duty trial too is absurdly hard. I don't
It
know
is very
who
hard. It is hard. I had to lower the difficulty, mostly because I just wanted to get
Whose
through with it. Yeah, it was
cracked mind
very hard.
was
Yeah.
on that, but that was just unbelievably atrocious for no reason.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
but the dungeon in that's really fun. The Tysus Hyperborea.
Yep.
It's fun little dungeon. And that's really the best part about it, besides what you see at the end of the cutscene after that world's over.
Yeah.
And with Venat turning into Hydaelyn or becoming Hydaelyn, and why she basically split the worlds into all 13 different worlds or whatever it was, and then the source, the first, talking about all the worlds that fell. Which there's some theories about that too, about which worlds that they were actually the other Final Fantasy worlds, which is pretty neat. But basically all that part I think should have been shrunk, definitely. And the only other part of the story that really does slow down is the level 88 quest that you do preparing to launch the spaceship to go into space. Is not the bunny part. The bunnies are super cute.
Yeah,
They are
there's Living
so
Way,
good. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, Lighting Way, whatever they're called. I love those bunnies; they were fantastic. But like, yeah, let me talk about that section real quick, the early
Yeah.
one.
Hmm.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that I understand what they were trying to do. They're trying to give you context in the grand scheme of things of what is what, how it is. Like, that's okay. But the thing was, is it like the story comes to a slamming stop. Like, I mean, you're in the middle, like doing a war, like fighting Xenos, doing a dungeon, going to the moon, doing like meeting awesome bunnies, having heartfelt moments with your comrades to just slow out of nowhere. And I think that I completely agree with Aries that like it needs to be cut short a bit, just because like it's slow and it stays slow for like an hour or two. Like it's pretty bad in my opinion. I was just like I'm not gonna lie, I I still was hit hard by the moments that like proceeded after those moments, like the ending, because I knew what happened. Like I mean I'm so glad I experienced it, but just wow, it was very slow. But yeah, then the bunnies, very incredible. I didn't find the ship, like preparing for the ship, to be too bad. Honestly, that was a lot faster than the damn like going back into the past and finding out what happened with Hydaelyn and Thalos. Like all of that was like a lot slower for me. I still
Hmm.
found like the ship was kind of interesting. I love how all RPGs that like have like a like a older style context, like swords and bows and arrows and muskets, and then when you get to the final DLC, spaceship. It's
Yes.
really funny because Tales of Arise did the same thing, and I thought that
Yep,
was
they did.
really funny.
Yep.
Because I need to still play that. But here's the thing. Okay, so let's talk about that ending. Since we talked about like the beginning, the middle, and now let's talk about the end.
Yeah.
Uh, this game it borders on the lines of horror.
Yeah.
Like it actually does.
Yeah.
Like some of the moments that happen is actually pretty screwed up. Like, I mean, you are literally seeing the genocide of worlds. Like
Yeah.
people like giving up their lives just so they can find happiness again, so they never have to feel sorrow. Like the main protagonist basically says, "Hey, I'm going to save your life. How? I'm not going to let you live it so you can experience suffering."
Yeah.
That is such a huge thing that we are talking about today. Like in culture today, we're actually talking about that same discussion in different contexts right now. And whether you are for it or against it, like I think it's very prolific that they were able to take that type of topic and bring it to 14. Like,
Hmm.
in a sense, some people may agree with the antagonist, thinking like, "Oh my god, like, yeah, the world sucks. Like, if I had the option to not live in it, I wouldn't live in it. And if someone could take me out of it, I would do it." Like, that sounds horrifying and awful, but that's actually a pretty realistic view of like how people feel these days. Um,
Yeah.
like, and I think that we should really take that to heart. That's how deep the writing is, in my opinion. So not only that, so you go to this you go to a new planet basically. You go to freaking the Kessel Run, you go to Kessel in Star Wars, and just like everything is just messed up. Like the world is broken. Like it only exists because Thancred willed it to, and forced her to create it. And then each of your Scion comrades end up dying to pave the way for you because like there's moments you can't proceed, and it's because they have to fight the brokenness in the dead people and dragons and like other entities. They have to fight it with their own positivity to create a pathway, but which ends up killing them. And in the moment where Gratia
Hmm.
dies, and then Alphino and Alize
That was
pass away,
yeah.
that moment where it says, it's so it's so
It's basically saying
insane.
like, hey, like even at the end, you find the strength to walk forward
Yeah,
and stuff
with the
like
weight
that.
of 1,000
Yeah.
worlds weighing on your shoulders, you somehow have the strength to move forward, and that's where you see these ghosts in front of you, and like all you can do is walk. It's like a walking section,
Mhm.
and like all the main characters and side characters you've seen, not every single one. There's 15 quotes. You go through each and single one of them, and like they're just kind of they take like a line from back in the story, and they use it to empower you. He says, "Well, if you, I think what's the first one? It's the guy with the axe, who's actually in the very first Realm Reborn cutscene, the trailer.
Yep.
Who's I can't remember his name. What was his name?
You're talking about Ardbert, yeah.
Arbert. Yeah,
Yep.
he actually has two words. He actually has two quotes: the very beginning and the very end, which I think is really prolific too. He says, "If you ever need a push, I'll be right here." And
Hmm.
then it's I think the other one that's really insanely powerful is what we have reaped in blood. What we have reaped in conflict, we have sown with our own blood, and this cannot go on any further. Like I just probably butchered that, but like it's
Hmm.
so like all these big moments that happen that you probably thought, I mean, it's okay, whatever. To have them all come back at that very end where it's about you. It's about you. You're the only one that's gotten this far. No one else has been
Hmm.
able to do what you've done. All your comrades are gone. It's just you. The weight of 1,000 worlds weighs on your shoulders, and if you fail, it's all over. That is how
Hmm.
you set up a sequel. That is how you finish a story. And then they summon Emmett and Hythlodaeus, if I keep
Yeah,
fucking up the name.
Hythlodaeus, yeah.
Hythlodaeus,
So
I
yeah,
keep.
so to give you guys an idea, the first voice like you were saying is Ardbert. The second one is Harshfont, our boy
Yep.
from Heaven's Word. Third one is actually Marilib from the Limsa. She
Yeah,
runs
say
like the
that
main
one.
Limsa
Just
thing.
read that one. That's what I was talking about.
Uh, it's let's see. It's what we have sown. Oh fuck. Let's
Oh,
see.
did you have it pulled up? I thought you had it pulled up. That's my bad.
No, it was basically I think if I can
Here, I'll look it
find it
up. I'll look it
here.
up. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
What?
Let's see.
She says, well, we have sown in blood, we have reaped in suffering, and it cannot go on. That
Yes.
is so powerful.
Yeah.
Like, it's so big because you're in Realm Reborn thinking like, dude, I hate this. Like, this is just a typical story, right? Like, I'm a hero. I'm going out to kill the monsters to get EXP so I can become stronger, so I can save the princess, yada yada yada, right? It's like basic stuff, right?
Mm.
But this story is very much like a mirror where like we're looking into ourselves and just saying like, hey, we have sown in blood, we have reaped in suffering, and it cannot go on. Like they're like trying to build
Yeah. It's
bonds and relationships with each other, not trying to kill each other. And that's what they've been doing for years. And it's because
yeah.
of the Scions and the Warrior of Light and Darkness,
Hmm.
that you've been able to unite everybody under one banner. Like I don't know, I
Yeah.
that's like my favorite one. And then
Yeah.
keep going, keep going.
There's Amaric
Yep.
from Heaven's Word when he talks to Midgardstormer for that first time when he arrives in the city.
Yep.
Next one is Nanamo, the little short girl from Thanolin.
Yep.
When she's talking to the
Oh, the
Emperor
Sultus.
before, yeah, the Sultan, yeah. Rabon is the next one.
Yep.
Such victories are rare, without sacrifice and things like that.
But like the cost of yeah, such things are
Yeah,
really one without
cost of victory is
sacrifice.
worth. Yeah.
That's worth
Uh,
it, or something like that. Yeah.
there's another one that so there's Nanamo, and then the next one I think is from the girl from Gridania, the
Yeah.
white mage that's over there. Um,
Yep.
one of my favorite ones is still from Stormblood with Heian, Savior Tears for
Yes.
Tomorrow. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Papalymo,
That's
our
my
boy
favorite. I gotta
Papalymo.
find that one. I gotta find that one. Hold on,
Yeah,
hold on. Oh, come on, come on. Pop. How you spell his name?
Papallymo.
Papallymo. Fantasy 14 Endwalker quote. Like I have to. Oh, come on, where is it? I've got to find it. Uh, do not no. Yeah, do not squander the legacy I leave you. That's really good. I love that one. But that's not.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's Papalimo's. It's basically, I think it's from Tragedy and something. Uh,
It's about Bring a New Dawn. I've got to read it just because it's so. Here it is. Actually, I had the whole list now. I have the whole list. Okay. Yeah, what we have sown in blood, we have reaped in suffering, cannot go on. Upon the souls of they who have sacrificed themselves to save the way for peace, to pay the way for peace, we will never abandon our cause. That's a really good one. Nanamo, while it is true that man succumbs all too often to anger and avarice, he may yet overcome his baser instincts to the forming of bonds with others. That's another one. Rahuban. Such victories are rarely won without sacrifice, but the prize is worth the price. That I love that. That's good.
Yeah.
Kani Sena, I keep messing up these names. Excuse me if I mess them up, guys. Kani Sena, and we, for our part, are glad indeed to be able to welcome friends both old and new. Save your tears for the morrow. You may be sure we will have ample cause to shed them, be they for joy or despair. That's good. Yeah. Then this is one of my favorite ones too. This is from Papalimo. From tragedy and sacrifice, we rise to greet a new dawn. That was the one. Then Edmont, a future shaped by the choices we made in ways we could never have foreseen. Beck Lug, if I said that name correctly, I'm probably butchering all of these.
Yeah,
Yet
Beck
miracles,
Lug,
yet miracles do happen. So let us pray and will our friends home. Reen, I won't stop praying until I know they're safe. Now, this is the dragon one. I don't know how to pronounce this one.
that's Midgard Stormer. Yeah.
Midgard Summer, yeah. Strong art thou, mortal. That one made me cry. I don't know why. I have all of them.
Yeah, of all the people with the dragon that took away all your crystals and was like, "What's up, bitch? You going into Heaven's
Yeah.
Word without him?"
Yeah, no, that one was insanely. Oh, man.
I think it's also just because, like, given the context of Heaven's Word, Midgard Stormer didn't even have to like do anything for you when you got trapped in the Allegan ruins and everything.
Yeah.
But he literally just transforms. He's like, "All right, yeah, you can ride on me. Yeah, let's get you out of here. Like you've done enough for like my kind," type of thing. And it's just like such a good moment, even in Heaven's Word. To forget
Yeah.
Endwalker just for a second, just Heaven's Word. This is literally this, like the very end of Heaven's Word when he's like, "Hey, like, yeah, you didn't have to do all this, but you did it for us, and like I'm grateful for like my kids and like everybody that I basically got over." Because people don't remember at the time, Midgard Stormer had like died. Like he
Yeah.
basically like took down a big Imperial ship, and that's where you go fight his ghost at the end of Realm Reborn. Is basically you fight his like essence.
Oh,
like,
that makes sense now.
It was
Yeah,
that
makes
was
sense.
really good. So
Yeah.
but he basically took down like a blimp, like a Zeppelin, and it was like the biggest shit ever, and he just took it down, but it killed him in the process, pretty much.
Yeah.
And there was
there's two more. This is from Infilia. Look to the light within, that you may continue to serve as a beacon to others. And then Ardbert, the last one, he says, he basically says, "Let's finish this."
yeah. And the funny thing about that is that he actually, so the cool thing to give you context too, as far as lore goes, he says that to you when you fight him as the Warriors of Darkness. He's basically trying to kill you at that point. But that line
Oh, that's
plays
funny. I didn't know that.
almost like him encouraging you at the very
Yeah.
last push.
Yeah, I think that's so good. Like, and at the end of the day, it's all about writing. And to have those quotes there, like, I mean, you were there, like, listening to me as I was playing it, and like, I was
Mm-hmm.
getting so emotional. Like, I was just
Yeah.
feeling the weight of just knowing that I'm no longer a sprout. Like, I have
Mm-hmm.
literally climbed and climbed and climbed through these expansions, and now I'm here. It took me like a year. Like, I mean, today I have like what 360 days, I think, playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's that. I'm pretty sure. Um, and I think there's just a the sheer audacity that I've been playing that long and I just now finished it is insane. It's crazy. It really is. It's crazy. But dude, the journey has been so worth it. And you know what's the saddest thing of it all?
Mm.
There'll be people that will never play this game, like not
Yeah.
once.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the shame. Like that
Yeah.
is what's really sad about 14 is that the asking price, the price that you have to pay, right, is time and
Yeah.
patience,
Mm-hmm.
right? That is the biggest thing this game asks of you, and mostly just from Realm Reborn. That's the only thing I can say that's a negative in this game is Realm Reborn. I do not
Yeah.
like it. I
That's the Realm Reborn asking price is hefty,
It's
but
very hefty, but worth it.
yeah, it's worth it
It's so worth it.
because at that point too. Now talking about the end too, when
Yeah,
we're talking about going through the dead ends, really fun dungeon too. It's a very
it's messed
end
up.
of the
Yeah,
expansion one too. It's very similar to Amaro, where you go through and see like their final days thing and things like that. It's very fitting on that end. Uh, Insigner, for the quote unquote final boss of the expansion, amazing, like so well done. The part where everybody thinks they wipe, and then comes back and it turns out that if you pay close attention to the cutscene too, the scions are actually animated. Some of them are in the same way animated as in the first trailer for Realm Reborn, where they all have the certain positions where they're all praying, and basically for the protection stuff, they're actually animated the same way. Some of them are with the same cutscene from the very first part of the Realm Reborn trailer. Then music kicks in. And the best part of the music in that fight is that they play basically your theme combined with the Endwalker theme. So it's basically the Warrior
mm,
of Light theme from Realm Reborn gets mixed in with the Endwalker theme. And it's so good because like you're like, oh my god, it's this insurmountable boss that we're fighting, and now no, you become the boss.
yeah,
And like she's like, oh shit, I hear boss music, and the warrior like just kind of smiles. It's just like him giving a big jackass grin. That's basically what that fight turns into, and it's so well done.
yeah.
It's so fucking good on that end. Xenos shows up. I actually heard a lot of people when they first kind of figured that Xenos was going to be your final fight. I heard a lot of people say they didn't want to do that, but because I think Xenos helps out with the last boss fight, I think a lot of people actually changed their tune and were willing to give him that moment of kind of the one-on-one. And they were like, you know what, you're a dick, but you also like kind of like came in clutch. So yeah, sure, let's fight it out.
Yeah,
Type of
I
thing.
think, and here's the thing, right? I think that it showed him to not be as two-dimensional as we thought he was. The only thing
Yes.
about Xenos that we thought was actually there was his like un his unending like love of just wanting to be the strongest. Like that's all we thought
Yes.
the depth of his character lied. Like that's all we
Mm.
thought that was there. But then when you get to the ending and how like he literally was like, Warrior of Light, have you not defeated this man already? I would think that you'd already defeated this bitch. Like,
He
him
literally
saying that.
he literally said, "I thought you were above such thing as an emotion." Like
Yeah, exactly.
he was
Like
like,
he
"Are you not over your emotions yet?" And you're like, "No, fuck no." And he's like, "Come on, dude."
he literally not he. Here's the funny thing too. Alice literally like bitches at him and says like, you can keep bitching and complaining that you want this fight, but no one's going to give you the time of day, so you might as well go fuck off. And he's just like, Damn. All right, I will.
Yeah, it gets to him. Like
It
what
does.
she actually says to him is probably the only reason you survive too, is because Alize says that to him.
Yep.
Because he was just gonna wait. Like he was just like, okay, you know what? I'll wait till he gets back. But then I think he realizes that, well, if I wait too long, there may be nothing left.
There may be
Yeah.
nothing left to give me what I've been wanting. So like
Yes.
I think that he kind of sets aside like, his wants, and he decides like, hey, you know what? Let me go in. I'll let me help the war. Let me help him. He doesn't even call him the
And-
warrior of light. He calls him adventurer. Like
Yeah,
he calls him
yeah.
like he's it's like an equal. It's like it's a sign of like us as equals. Like rather
Well,
than
because Xenos' new name that he has in Endwalker, I think it's Latin for traveler. So it's basically at the very end, it's an adventurer and a traveler fighting it out.
which makes sense. Like I mean, as
Yeah.
a fellow adventurer, as a fellow traveler, which is what Xenos basically became.
Yeah.
Like that's what he became in Endwalker. He wasn't he wasn't a royalty anymore because he gave that up. He literally let his own continent like fall apart, his own
Like, yeah,
nation
fuck
fall
it.
apart because he
It
was
wasn't looking
bored.
too good.
Because he was bored.
He was so bored. He let an entire continent get wiped out, and he was like, oh, "Shit,
Yeah.
all right, can't do
So
anything about that."
I think that when the time came, I knew it was going to happen because like with all honesty, I think you accidentally spoiled it for me on accident.
Yeah, I think I did for
You did.
the-
You did.
the-
Like
I
I
know,
knew.
I know why. Because the video I sent you of the last theme, or the last time where the Endwalker theme, like the actual one for the trailer plays, is in that last fight, and it's a video that
Yep.
has the
The
last fight on
fight.
there. So I was
Yeah, and I was like,
yeah.
damn it, I know it's going to happen. I figured it was going to happen. I just didn't know how it would happen. So I was surprised of how it happened, but I knew it was going to. But I think everyone did. I think everyone knew at that point. But so when he asked, once you beat, when you stop the final days, right? And he's just like, hey, okay, so you got what you wanted. Now let's hear me out. You've been wanting to fight me this entire time, haven't you, adventurer? Like, come on, just to fight it out. Nothing to lose, nothing to win, just duking it out. And like you just kind of say, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to. And like the music then turns up, and you're like, let's go. And like you have a great one-on-one with him, a test of your reflexes.
No, yeah, get ready for that.
Get ready
to
for
hear
that.
that on repeat.
A
Yeah.
test of your reflexes.
Test of your
I stood up on
reflexes.
accident.
Yeah.
But like it's just like it's so funny, but like because it reminds me of the owl fight. Follow me, go.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
the meme central on that fight is just too much.
I think Xenos definitely takes the win for it for sure. But like the fight's just fantastic, and like this song, the Endwalker main theme is just incredible because like that's the first time and the only time that song actually plays in Endwalker. It doesn't play anywhere else. I checked. Like, there's nowhere else that it plays.
Yeah.
Which is sad. I thought that was kind of sad, but it's fine. Because I think Shadowbringers' battle music is better than Endwalker's, but I think Endwalker's theme is better than Shadowbringers. And some of the other music is way better in Endwalker. But
yeah, mid mid dungeon fight is I think just a little bit better than the Shadowbringers mid dungeon fight. Even though I love Shadowbringers mid dungeon fight, but Endwalker has like it's that kind of like it's like Rage Against the Machine meets Church Choir, and it's like so fucking good. It's amazingly good.
yeah, no, I agree. It's good.
But so basically, since that's basically on the story end of it. Like the story end of it, the class part I want to talk about because we do have two new classes in Endwalker, which I think fit right in. I think Reaper and Sage fit definitely really good with the rest of the job classes that we have. We have 20 now. We have
That's a shit ton.
yeah. We have 20, including Blue Mage. Even I'm going to count Blue Mage for just because it is a class. It's in the game, but it's not a full class. But
it's sad. I really want Blue Mage to like. Okay, here's the thing. I'm a big aesthetic guy, so like, I mean, I don't find like having like a massive Warhammer interesting. I think having like a cool cane or like a pistol, something weird and small. I don't know why. I'm a big fan of that shit. Like, I love the idea of like a cane, like you being like this British gentleman as a class. I think that's kind of dope. But like sadly, it's a gimmick class, not really a full on class. But like
Yeah.
Reaper and Sage, I gotta say, pretty damn good. I've not played either of them because that's just not where my interests lie.
Yeah.
I don't find being the Grim Reaper that interesting. I'm very basic in what I like, and that's the thing too. That when you talk about 14 awards, you like it's like, hey, dude, play as much or as how little as you want, and
Yes. Yeah.
that is the best part about this game.
More so in Endwalker than
I
anything in
agree.
any other of the expansions because they give you not just having the two new classes that you can pick up whenever you want to, and they're at very high levels.
Yeah.
But so you basically have a full kit. Uh, it was very similar to how I thought Samurai and Red Mage were when you got them at 50. It reminds me a lot of that. How their kits were basically complete. It felt like a
Yeah.
complete job when you get it, which makes it a lot easier to pick up the class and play it. And not to mention that Samurai and Red Mage are the two easiest ones to learn out of their respective classes. They're without a doubt the easiest jobs to play. They're difficult to master though, but they are like definitely easy to pick up and learn how to play them. The same thing is not the case with Sage and Reaper, which are very demanding jobs. They you have to be smart when you play them, especially for Sage, because Sage runs out of MP very fast, and you can get in a lot of trouble if you don't know how to play Sage properly in a dungeon. But like the aesthetics for those, I do think are cool. The Grim Reaper thing is kind of like the shtick
Yeah.
of Reaper,
Yeah.
but the Reaper basically becomes like the most stupid class after level 80 because you get Enshroud, where you basically like join your body with the ghost, and you get your Enshroud capability. You basically look like a fucking like you look like an evil Lubu after that because
Yeah.
you're going around just murdering everything in your path. You do great damage. Sage has kind of like the Sage to me is what Scholar should have been in the first place, and what I mean by that is Sage just has everything that Scholar, like the aesthetic, the abilities, like the way that it like performs. It's basically what Scholar should have been, and that's why I like Sage. It's the shield healer that should have been a shield healer all along. In my opinion, Sage, realistically, it felt like a class that should have been in the game all along. It just fits really well with the rest of the class. Reaper doesn't. Reaper does feel like a very Endwalker type of job. It feels like that is something you should not have gotten until you got to this point in the story. But Sage does not. Sage feels like you should have got it at 50 and
Yeah.
leveled it from there. But
Yeah.
and the balancing, just talking about the balancing for the game too. Balancing is definitely there. Like there, all classes can complete content with no problem. Same thing was with Shadowbringers. Same thing was like it since pretty much 2.0. The balancing has been really good. Certain party makeups for your savage raids are a little bit different. Like, you know, it's very popular to see like a warrior and gunbreaker, warrior or dark knight for your tank team ups, and your high DPS damagers still being in there. Like samurai is still the king, black mages are the queen, and then you know range DPS is machinist without a doubt.
Facts.
And then you know probably you would probably could either back for like a monk or a dragoon for some cases. A lot of healers you'll see Sage and White Mages, or not, well actually Sage and Astrologians team up a lot because Astrologian has the highest DPS out of the healers right now, and then Sage is like a really close second. White Mage is not in a good spot, but got better as of the patch they did for 6.1. They had to go and Sage. But Scholar, you'll actually see scholars for the higher tier raids because Scholar is not good at low levels, but Scholar is actually very useful right now at high levels, and does really good at high levels. But it's still very hard to play Scholar. But like all the jobs feel really good. They've basically taken some of the annoying things they were Shadowbringers and fixed them. Like every
Hey,
they could
hey,
fix them anymore.
Aries. You're
Yes.
breaking up pretty bad. So we should probably go on in the stream,
Okay.
or give you a second to kind of get your Wi-Fi fixed a little bit because you're super
Let me try the
robotic.
Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Yeah, let's try that real quick. While he's doing that, let's keep the conversation going. Gotta say, yeah, a lot of those classes he's talking about, I think what's really awesome is that, again, like, when it comes to doing what you want, the game is very, like, okay with it. Like, there's not, like, a asking price of, like, hey, if you really want to enjoy the game here, you've got to play this class. You got to do this. You got to do that. That's not what it asks of you at all. Like, it's basically like, I found that I really wanted to do Samurai and Ninja. I had to do some subclasses into it before I could play it. But once you got to that part of the story, you could actually enjoy these classes. And that's what's awesome. I found it very, very... Samurai is actually my favorite one. The amount of DPS you do non-stop is just insane. You can literally just go through dungeons with, like, if there's a 4-man party and 2 of them are DPS and they're both Samurai, or a Samurai Ninja, you basically get done with that thing super quickly. Because of the amount of damage you are doing is just catastrophic. Like doing the earlier dungeons especially, oh man, like you clear them fast. Especially with a gunbreaker too, like backing you up. It's just insanely incredible. It's just very, 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 very much incredible.
Can everybody hear me now?
Yes, way better. Go ahead. Continue
Sweet.
your thoughts.
Okay. No, I came in on you talking about Samurai. But yeah, all the every class feels good. I've got most of them. Well, actually, I've got all of them besides Blue Mage, but not all of them up to 90. Of course, I'm still kind of making my journey through there. But so, like for instance, after we do our dailies today, my ninja will be fun to be at 90. But that'll be the other one I've got, and then probably going back. I need to do Red Mage probably some more, or Reaper. But all the classes are good. I do think the one thing that was really weird for me in Endwalker was that your job gear class set that you get is actually at 89 instead of 90, and it's very weird to get that gear and then have to go to the marketplace and buy 90 gear and then...
Well, I think I know why they do that.
that.
I think I know why they do that.
It's because of the way they basically put the story. It's a very weird spot to put the gear into it. In Shadowbringers, it made sense because you're already level 80 in level 80 quest when you get to Amaro.
Well,
but here you're not.
I think it's just because of where it ends. I think that it's basically saying that, hey, you got this far, and like the last gear you get's at 88 if you do the quest line for that class, right? But because like you got this far, and like it's your class that you've been working really hard on, we're going to give you an awesome set for 89. That if you don't have the money to buy 90 gear, you're not going to be like thrown to the side. Like the 89 gear is meant that you got this stuff done. You had the new next tier gear for your class, but like you don't necessarily need the 90 gear. It's mostly a buffer of like, hey, I max out my class. I'm level 90. I have the 89 gear. It's just one level below. I'm not going to get that much better of stats by just getting the next level up gear. If I have extra chump change to spend, yeah, I can do that. I like how this bitch literally just like walked on top of us. Did you see that? She perfectly just like walked over our laps and just went the other way. Wow, that's incredible. But like that's why I think they do it too. And also just the fact that, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. You see these arm guards? This is the best gloves in 14, in my opinion. They look so cool. Let's look at them. Like, they just look so dope. Right now, I don't know how they're not expensive. They're about like 60,000. That's still pretty expensive. But like I have it on my ninja over here, which is my number one class to be honest, because this looks super like ninja based, which I love. Like you basically do, like the Hokage look with like Naruto with that little cloak he wears, which is really dope. The ninja gear has grown on me. The pants, the shoes, and the gloves and the helmet are not the ninja gear you get, which I know it's like basically the majority of the outfit. But that chest piece is freaking awesome. It's too much purple for me for the main set, but like it's just enough without everything else. But like just everything is just so cool. And the best part of it too, the best part of the game was the glamour system. Being able to just like create, like you know how like in games that like you spend like a majority of your time like wearing the level 50 you're wearing that super heavy armored set, right? Like this is like a typical 77 like looking character. Like he's not going to be looking like he has clothes on unless you glamour it all the time. Like you're not going to be worried about glamoring because you're going to be working on like leveling up and getting yourself to the next echelon, right? But like once you get high up, that's where like it kind of makes sense where like you're a level 90 character and like you don't need armor anymore. Like you can glamour that and like this is how I look and like it looks dope. I look like a gentleman like samurai bodyguard that's like, okay man, are you sure you want to do this? I've been on the road longer than you. Are you sure you want to do this? Like, are you sure you want to go? Like, I love it. And that's what the glamour system has done, in my opinion. That, like, I think the armor you're ending up with after Endwalker looks better, looks cooler, gives you more options for glamour and accessorizing. Which, I mean, glamorizing is just, like, basically the rest of the game.
Glamour is in-game, pretty much, for this. Like, it's basically how you would think it would be. Like basically it's a bunch of people doing like a fashion show pretty much is basically what this shit is. It is fashion show the game after you get to your character at 90 because you want to go get some stuff or you want to go to a dungeon and try to get some stuff for your classes and everything. So it just depends. Like it is.
You still need to get a new haircut, by the way.
That's true.
You gotta switch it up, man. By the way, when you get to level 90, or if you'd played the game, if it's been a long time since you've gotten a haircut or anything, just get a new haircut, hair color. It will seriously change your game. Like I don't know why it did it for me. I'm a big cosmetic person, I guess. But like, I know it sounded really, like, I shaved it too. I had like a beard. Like it wasn't a massive beard because like the race I was playing as, they don't really have a lot of beards. But like the character I got. Like, I mean, I made him look older. Kind of gave him some, like, lighter colored hair. Looks like he's been aging a little bit. Like, kind of shaved his little mustache. And now he, like, looks older, more professional, looks, like, more weathered. And I love the look. Like, I think it looks really good. He's so young, but, like, I mean, god dang. If you've done Realm Reborn, Heaven's Word, Stormblood, Shadowbringers, Endwalker, you probably have white hair, too, to be honest.
Yeah, you've been doing this thing since Methuselah was born, but, like, the entire thing of, like, your glamour stuff is just to spice it up a little bit because, especially when you're starting out in Realm Reborn, you're like, hey, this looks a little goofy, or, hey, it looked like I just got through it fucking Cirque du Soleil type of thing, but, it can make you kind of get tired of how you look, and sometimes you could even like your look, but you just want to change it up just a little bit.
Exactly.
Now, there are some classes who just have objectively better, in my opinion, just objectively better stuff at certain levels that makes you just look tight, but like some of them are definitely like Samurai and Dragoon. Dragoon is number one. You don't even have to work for gear for Dragoon because all your stuff just looks like you're about to go whack somebody.
Yeah, but I definitely think you're talking about just like main class armor. You're talking about like just every level, like every armor you can ever get,
or really just every level stuff. Because my Dragoon stuff, how it looked every level, I didn't have any problem with it. Like Dragoon gets really lucky on that. Paladin actually gets very lucky on that too. There's a lot of sick looking Paladins running around. And they all have like level 66 gear, and it's kind of ridiculous. But some of the classes overall have it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I looked like a tard as a as a rogue ninja. Like I mean, the early levels looked very very rough. And there were some lay levels too that just like I did not like any of the gear that I was
Yeah.
getting.
The best, the thing about the sad thing about Ninja is that you basically have to wait until level 50 to get some good looking stuff.
Oh
on
yeah,
it.
well
Yeah.
it's purple though. I didn't really. Is that where you get the purple one? I can't remember.
You get a black and purple version of it.
Yeah,
But the purple is like the stronger item level, so you have to wear it, where you have to glamour the other parts of it onto there.
yeah.
But I think we could probably call it there. We still need to run our dailies.
Yeah, we still got to run our dailies. So, guys, I hope you found this actually interesting. I know that we kind of threw a lot at you guys, but at the end of the day, you know, the thing about, you know,
Play
being
it for yourself. Join the club.
It's not only play it for yourself. It's like, you know, we don't come on here and recommend games to you guys that are bad. If we ever recommend a game like through hype, we play the game and then give you our thoughts afterwards. Like Cyberpunk, for instance, or Greedfall. Like we always do that. And when it comes to this game, guys, this is not for everybody, but I do think it's for most of everybody. So I do think that give it a shot. If you ever need like someone to play with, hit us up. I mean, we're always down. Always looking for new people. There's guilds. There's guilds you can literally join at any point that give you boosts to your EXP. So like I think that you should really find a guild that's big and that you can join them and get a boost to your XP as you go through the story. But guys, I'm gonna end it here. Definitely go check out Aries Game Productions. Always doing shit on his channel. So go check it out. Take a look see. And guys, if you like the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Evan, show us out. You're fucking dumb. All right, we're done. I'll see you guys.